He was reborn as the weakest race, as a goblin. But this race has an insane passive. He can get stronger by mating. Yeah, you didn't misunderstand. He gets more powerful by having babies, and he can do it with any species. Humans, other goblins, and even elves. But don't get your hopes up. If you reincarnate in an isekai, you won't get a power like that. And you better hope you don't reincarnate with titans chasing you. Also, it's not like his life is sweet like honey just because of that. Our protagonist has already been captured, brutally tortured, more crushed than the Patriots in the last Super Bowl, to the point they completely broke him. He grew to hate the human race, even though he was one in his past life. But let's go back to the beginning so you can see the taste of this revenge. After the chief died, the goblins fought. They were biting each other's noses. Is that even right? They wanted to be the new chief. They even wanted the old prey the chief left behind. They could smell mating in the air. But there was one different goblin who called himself the guardian of that prey. Suddenly, he hears something and runs to see what's going on. A bunch of goblins were attacking the girl. You know exactly what was about to happen. When they saw the different goblin, they got furious and attacked. But he took out one of his brothers easily. This goblin had a weapon, and because of that, all the others ran off in panic. The girl thanks the goblin for saving her again. The problem is he wasn't always a goblin. He was a human named Lin Tian, but he got taken out by Truck Kun. It's always you, hun. Truck Kun. Now he's a goblin and he has a system. Even though it looks like it hasn't been 100% initialized yet, the girl also taught him things about this world. The gods created it and created monsters too. Humans have powers as well, but he reincarnated as the weakest, most despicable monster. Even among goblins, he's weak because of his stats. But we can't forget he can get stronger by mating. And this one here already looks like she's got a full belly. Naturally, there are no female goblins, so they need to mate with other species. The problem is, he used to be human, and that feels wrong. The girl says he's different and that he doesn't want to live with those goblins. Then she talks about a group of knights arriving and that they'd let him live in the village, if she explains. But suddenly, he hears goblins coming. He yells for the curvy girl to run with him. A goblin actually shows up, but he was running around saying the humans arrived and that he wanted to mate to get strong. End of its life. The beast's instinct is to find a hole. With a single hit, he sent his brother to go mate in hell. Looks like the humans really did come. The girl happily says it must be the knights and even cries with joy. Come to think of it, our goblin, even though he's weak, is kind of pot-bellied, right? Suddenly, he stops. A man was using a skill right in front of him and wiped out several of his brothers at once. That guy was really strong. He was mad because the goblins tore his new cape. But the problem was his status. It was way too high. Is he really a human? The girl yells that they're there, but our little potbelly just keeps thinking. Suddenly, he realizes something is wrong. The knight's sword was already about to cut the girl in half. He saves her, and she falls into a very mating-looking pose. At first, Potbelly thought he might have been mistaken because of the darkness, but he gives off an aura that makes it seem like it wasn't that. The girl claims her name is Kalia, and he says he knows that. But he says she's already been corrupted by the goblins, and might even be pregnant with theirs. She cries and says she wasn't corrupted thanks to him. She says that while pointing at Potbelly, saying he saved her. But the knight doesn't care. Paul Potbelly runs. He shoves her, telling her to run while he grabs the staff. He'll probably die from this hit. But the hit didn't reach him thanks to a golden light. A woman ordered Loder the knight to stop. Kalia asks the saint to save her, begging with all her strength. The saint asks if the goblin can understand what she's saying. This was his chance to get out of here. He says yes. He quickly tells everything about being a human and not being from this world. After seeing the saint, he's probably wanting her blessings. Loder is impressed. While the saint says he is a gift from the Holy Mother. The blonde woman asks if he really didn't attack her, and Kalia confirms it. So they decide to take the goblin to analyze him. Later, the saint asks if he accepts, and right away he says yes. With a snap of her fingers, she undoes the barrier. While walking, she orders Loder to do it. The fat guy was about to start thanking her for being saved, but she cuts him off, saying yes. Suddenly, Kalia gets stabbed somewhere else, not in the mating spot. What is happening? The one he suffered so much to protect was taken out by her own companions. The saint, with a nasty look and 2 huge melons, says he better pay her back properly when they return. A week after what happened, Loder was giving a speech in the square, talking about having wiped out the goblins. The whole population cheers for revenge. He lies, saying the goblins killed Kalia, but that it's already been dealt with. The saint says the sanctuary will always protect the devoted, and that's how they control the masses. The more prayers, the stronger the sanctuary would be. I barely gave the pedal 1 turn, and the chain already popped off. Suddenly, someone calls out for Saint Avelia. She looks at him with disdain. Our fat guy is completely busted up. He yells furiously, cussing her out with everything he's got. She just praises him for his vitality, for still being alive, but says she's going to test the effects of the poisons on the goblin. That makes him furious. He yells that she fooled everyone and even killed Kalia, but she just stabs him. Kalia was killed because she was seduced by Goblin and spoke on his behalf. That's betrayal against humanity. To Avelia, goblins are just parasites and he should accept her, using his body to help with human experiments. But is he going to die? Was his mistake reincarnating with a human merciful heart? He was tortured every day just for fun, until he was killed. If he had another chance, he'd never trust humans again. He would get revenge on every last one of them. Suddenly, he finds himself somewhere else. The system warns him he was the dumbest of all the transmigrators, and offers him the chance to restart. At least the system is honest. Only now he understood that his system had to die to activate. He was offered to go back 1 week in time with his current memories. This was a chance for revenge with his own hands. He's going to get revenge on Loader and Avelia. So he returned to the goblin's nest, but this time with a small boost from the system. The system warns that if he dies again, it's all over, and that the humans are coming. He also has the ability to simulate a decision, and he can use it once a day, so he quickly activates it. In the current scenario, the cave has been discovered by Loader, and he needs to escape death. The options would be, well, warn the other goblins, abandon them and run. And lastly, hide and pray that Loader doesn't find him. But he knows that even if he gathers the goblins, they wouldn't stand a chance. Even so, to test it, he chose the option that gave him the most system points. But in that simulation, he got killed by the human group for overestimating the goblin's strength. But he gained the 10 points. He already knew he couldn't trust the goblins, but now he has points and decides to open the exchange window. There are various weapons at different prices, but with 10 points, he can only buy an elven dagger that gives him 10% speed and 15 strength. Our former fat guy asks why he still hasn't found Kelia. The system warns that because of his rebirth, some details changed and Kelia wasn't captured, so now he just has to escape and survive. At the cave entrance, some guards say goblins are disgusting. Our goblin pinches his nose and imitates a girl calling for help. The guards get excited to kill the survivor, even if they're human, since it's Loader's order. Sneaking in, smiling, he tells the person not to be afraid. But then he gets hit right in the head. The revenge is only just beginning. The wounded soldier starts shaking in pain. The other guard walks over, asking why he's taking so long. Not realizing what's happened, Lintien smiles for thrilled that the plan is working quickly. Our boy rushes at another guard, his super sharp dagger making the guy freeze, clueless about what's happening. Lintien snaps a punch into the soldier's face, and the man starts to crumple. Fueled by rage and pure agility, the kid leaps on top of him and goes to work. Just like Lintien guessed, the dagger is insanely sharp. He carves a huge cut into the soldier, and the guard panics, collapsing to the ground. Thinking it's over, the soldier asks if Lintien can speak the human language. Then he begs for mercy, but pleading with the kid not to finish him. Trying to tug at Lin's sympathy, the soldier pulls out a photo of his family, saying they're waiting for him at home. When he sees the kid hesitate and realizes Lin understands him, the guard calls Tian smart and claims he was only following orders from the Holy Order. Then he tries to buy trust, promising gold and young women, fresh and juicy, all while planning to grab his weapon and strike. Thinking Lin Tian got distracted by the bait, the guard lunges like a sneaky rat, calling him a stupid beast. But the soldier doesn't get what he expects. With speed and that brutal dagger, Lin Tian cuts down the sneaky rat before he can even reach him. The kid kicks off the first part of his revenge. Our protagonist is dead set on making the most of his last chance at reincarnation. In a world where humans betrayed him, Lin Tian feels more and more certain his revenge will succeed. Then he hears Loader's voice nearby and thinks the captain is coming to capture him. He puts his plan into motion and takes the guard's clothes, leaving the area with the soldier's outfit in hand. Lintien says he'll soon find Loader and Ephraja. And at that moment, the captain and the saint arrive at the spot where the guards were taken down. Loader wonders if goblins could really have finished off those soldiers. Ephraja thinks a little monster that took out 2 guards might be a mutant. The captain tells his ally that if that's true and the news spreads through the village,
the consequences could be catastrophic. Stepping on the fallen guard, Loader cedes, calling him useless for losing to a single goblin. Meanwhile, the sadistic Ephraja lights up at the thought of a mutant little monster, saying, it'll be a lot of fun. With a dark look, almost turned on by the idea of a different goblin, the little saint says that if they catch him, she's going to have a lot of fun with it. Then we're back in the forest where the kid escaped. Lintien feels relieved. Seeing his plan finally working and knowing he made it out of that cave while eating, he says he'll deal with his enemies the goblin way, using veracity to boost his stats and expand his influence. With a dark stare swallowed by hate, Lin says that in this life, he'll make every man's only wish be death, and every woman will desire him and cry at his feet. Hearing the bushes rustle, he wonders if Loader and the other still haven't given up. Then Lintien spots someone, hooded, stepping out from behind the brush. He attacks immediately, not giving the intruder a chance to counter. Startled, the figure trips on a rock. Lintien stops short, shocked to see it's a goblin. He can't believe it. He is even more stunned when the goblin speaks, talking and expressing herself like he can. Still, he doesn't drop his guard. Whoever this is, she was hiding. Then something hits him even harder. Lintien can't figure out why this goblin has feminine features. Because goblins are only male, and that's why they can only reproduce with other species. The frightened female begs him not to hurt her and says she only came to get water, which makes him suspicious. Lintien can't wrap his head around a little monster speaking in full sentences. He checks her status and sees something that makes his blood run cold. If a male mates with a female of the same species, he'll become a goblin god. Lintien is amazed as he realizes that if he hooks up with her, it could be the perfect chance to become strong enough to face his enemies. Desperate and fearing for her, the girl tells Lintien her boss sent her to fetch water, and if she comes back without it, he'll beat her until he's done. She freezes when she realizes a goblin is talking to her and even trying to calm her down. Lintien warns her that if she keeps crying, she'll draw Loader and his group straight to them. Still stunned, she asks if he can really speak like she does. He says yes. Lintien remembers goblins usually can't speak coherently, which is why she never talked much with the others in her tribe. Grateful, the girl tells him his